Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Victoria, and I am the head of onboarding and support at Punchpass. So thank you all so much for joining us for our live demo. A couple things before we get started. If you have to jump off or if anything comes up, we are more than happy to meet up with you, talk with you. We could schedule a call. If you have more one-on-one in-depth questions about your specific studio, please let us know. But otherwise, throughout the meeting, if you want to use the chat feature and send in any questions you may have, because we'll definitely be doing Q&A when we get to the end of the demo. So please feel free to reach out there or contact us if you need anything. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Because we do think that sometimes it's really helpful to take that next step when you're researching your potential software system to get a look at it, see what it can do. Maybe you've signed up for a trial with us already, or maybe you're not quite sure if you're ready for the trial, but hopefully this will help answer some of the questions that you may have about how Punchpass works and if it might be a good fit for you. So again, if anything comes up, please reach out in the chat in this webinar. We'll be happy to help. If something comes up later and you want to reach out to us, you can always email us at support@punchpass.com. Also, if you go to the punchpass.com website, our chat box is there on that homepage, as well as a homepage in our trial. And you can also start a trial at punchpass.com/free trial. And once you start a trial, if you'd like to schedule a call with us one-on-one, be happy to talk to you there. So lots of potential for you to ask questions and for us to hopefully get you the answers that you need to move forward in this process. But before we jump into the live demo, just a couple of things about Punchpass and why this might be a good fit for you. We have a number of different plans, which are really priced with small businesses in mind, hopefully like yours, that you're trying to grow, trying to offer classes within your community. And we're trying to keep our pricing relative to what we're seeing in our industry. We also are trying to make our system as easy as possible to use. So really easy for you, especially easy for your clients to just sign up, follow the steps and book and pay you, and hopefully come to your classes, fall in love with what you have to offer, and just keep coming back for more, because that's how it's going to be an easier process for them to continue taking classes with you, especially if they're already a regular, but especially for those new people that we're trying to entice in, make it super easy for them to sign up and jump into a class. And also allow you to kind of spend more time focusing on what you actually want to do. I think probably most people, when they start their business and start offering classes, their goal was not to spend a whole lot of time learning how to use software. It was probably to spend time building an awesome collection of classes, maybe hire some instructors who can add some other offerings to your portfolio and to your schedule. And you probably want to focus a little bit more on that. That stuff's more fun and exciting. So hopefully we can get you up and running with Punchpass, and it'll be super easy for you and your clients to use. And that'll go pretty well for you. So who might be a good fit for Punchpass? Generally, we work with a lot of people in the movement and fitness space. So yoga, dance studios, gyms, anyone teaching classes though. We have a lot of different companies using us. We work with a wood shop. We work with a cooking school. We work with dog walkers. So, anything where you might want to have people, book and pay online for a class, Punchpass might be a good fit for you, because it will help you manage your booking in a way that hopefully will seem a little bit easier. Tracking payments. So keeping an eye on who's paid, how many classes do they have left, making sure that, when people book, they pay. Those are all features you can get in Punchpass. We also work really well with not just in-person classes, but also online classes. And maybe if you're offering hybrid options where people can choose to attend in person or online, make that really super easy for you. And I'll definitely show that in the demo. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by paper spreadsheets, or if you're using some other software that might be a little bit confusing, or it's taking up a lot of your time, or your customers are complaining about how, well, I booked in, but I wasn't sure, was I on the wait list? Was I in the class? Or they're just getting confusing information. Maybe Punchpass is going to be a better fit for you. We also think we're a really good fit for people just getting started. So if you haven't launched your business yet and you're looking to start fresh and have basically a really nice setup at your disposal with your class schedule, your policies, everything kind of out there. So when you launch, you have a really kind of a one-stop shop for anything your customers might need in doing business with you. So let's see if Punchpass is a good fit. We think we're a nice, friendly alternative. We're a small business too, so we understand a lot of the things that you might be experiencing and what you would like to see, what your customers would like to see. We have a pretty good handle on that. We work with a lot of people who are just looking to offer something special to their community. We're extremely flexible in terms of what we can do and what we can add and keep doing to improve. So if you aren't currently part of our newsletter, we'll add you and keep you posted on all the new things that we're launching all the time at Punchpass. We like creating new things and making the system even better for you. And we take a lot of our clients' input and feedback into account. So people put in requests and we're going to evaluate those and determine if it's something we can do. And sometimes it's something we can do really, really quickly. So we don't have to always, go through a lot of red tape in order to make that happen for you. We can usually make that happen pretty quickly. Again, ease of use is always top of mind for us in terms of designing the system, and all of the updates we make is ideally making it an easier system for you to understand and use and get going for your studio. I mean, as the head of support, I'm going to be very positive about my team, but we are always focused on bringing you, live support from actual people. We're in the chat. You'll probably reach out to me and talk to me if you start getting going with Punchpass. I'm in the chat quite a bit, but you'll hear from our team, and we are real people who are going to get to know you and your business and be able to help you make sure that your setup is right for you. So we always like to put that out forward, kind of front and center in terms of what the experience of working with Punchpass is like. And we're ideally building, class management for you now and also for what you might have in the future. You're always able to move around in terms of your plans with Punchpass, so you can scale up and down depending on what you need. We're always building and adding new features, again, keeping you up to date on what we're doing and looking to see, how we can keep being flexible and keep providing that, really easy solution for you and businesses like you. So hopefully you'll get a feel for that through our chat today. Let me go back here because I really want to focus on what the system looks like, how you can use it, and give you a flavor for that. So we're going to go ahead and get into the live demo. So this is my demo account. I have it set up as if we're, an operating business. So it's not what you're going to see when you start your demo, or I should say, when you start your trial. It's going to that's going to be really like fresh and open and a place for you to start playing and adding exactly what you might want for your business in there. But I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like when something is already up and running, and get a feel for how easy it's going to be to use. But we'll still set a few things up and just kind of give you a tour here. So this is your home page as the admin. From this page, you're going to see kind of what's coming up next. So for today and tomorrow and that week of classes, you're gonna be able to see what's going on there. Because a lot of times, for the most part, you're just going to be checking in classes. So we'll just be clicking into the class that's happening today, marking attendance, and we'll be all set. So that's kind of the primary thing you're going to see on your home page. We also have some quick action buttons. So for instance, if I just really need to add a quick new customer or a class on the schedule or private session, I can do that right from the home page. I can access the public view, which I'll show you in a little bit in terms of what your customers see. And a couple other things, if we've had any online purchases, we'll be able to click into those, and a little bit of summaries about different activity going on at the studio. So we'll get a quick kind of overview of our home page, but this is where you'll be landing when you log into Punchpass. Up at the top, we have our main navigation board. So your home page brings you back home. You can always click on the Punchpass logo. That'll bring you back as well. We have the customers page. So this is going to take you to your list of customers. From here, it's kind of easy to search for and click into a customer account. So if you need to do any specific accounting with one of your customers, add information to their account, assign them a pass if they come in and pay cash, something along those lines, you want to head to the customer page. The schedule is where you as the admin can look at your full schedule. You can filter it, you can go through the different months and go through a couple different things. So here we can see classes yesterday, their attendances, we can see upcoming reservations, and just a general overview of our recurring classes on the schedule here. You'll notice we can filter the schedule, and a lot of these, and some of these things are things that you can do from the customer side as well. So people will be able to filter your schedule if they just want to look at a particular class. You can also filter it by your instructor. And here we have a location filter. I'm using the location filter. It's also a filter that you can customize. So if you always have the same location, and maybe you'd rather use that filter to denote class level, or the type, beyond the sort of all classes, it might be another level of ways you want to filter out your schedule. Like maybe you have adult classes and you have classes for children, and you might want to identify those differently. So that's another customization that you can use in Punchpass. So you can see the calendar view. You can also check out the list view, so we can scroll through. That's going to be a little bit easier if you're going to be using it on mobile or on an iPad or something like that. And schedule is nice because once you have your classes set up, you'll be able to make changes right from here. So when I click on a class date, I can add a notice. I can remove classes or cancel them if anything, comes up. That's pretty easy to do. We can add an individual class to the schedule right from here. We can also start a recurring class. So if I'm like, oh, great, we're adding a new class to the schedule, we're going to set it up today, and then we can keep it going weekly. We can do that, and also setting up a private session with an individual. You can do that right from the schedule. But before we do that, you're going to want to make sure that you have class types. So this brings us to our fabulous Manage button. And that's going to bring us to a lot of different areas. So this is under Manage, we're able to access passes, classes, your content library if you're using that or on a plan that supports that, as well as your main account settings. I'm going to touch on each one of these things, but I want to go into classes first, because this is where you're probably going to get started when you use the trial. You're going to want to set up a class type and see what it looks like, see the different features that we have available for you there. You'll notice here we have a couple extra things going on. Not only do we have a number of active classes running, we also have some appointments. We offer an option to have certain classes on a separate schedule, which I'll demonstrate a little bit later, and the option to link classes together in a series. So if you're running like a course or something where you want people to book and pay for all of them at once and get into all the sessions that are linked together at once, you can do that. But we're going to go ahead and set up a class just to say, show you how that works and what that's going to look like by adding the class and adding it to the schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the new class. And at our Movement Studio, we're adding adult ballet. We'll make that public. You do have the option to not show classes on your public schedule. So if it's something just internal and you don't need your customers to be able to see it, that's a potential option for you. We'll go ahead and pick our color here. We can set the length of the class. So if this is an hour, if it's a little bit more, a lot of different options here. as you can see. So hopefully we'll get you covered. But let's say this is just an hour-long class. You can add a description to the class, anything that you want customers to know before they book, they'll see that in the class description. You could add links, images, bullet points, bold. You can also type that up somewhere else and copy and paste it into here if you kind of have your own formatting. For every class, you also get to set your reservation settings. So here we're going to accept reservations. We have the option to send them a reminder, an email, so that they get notified prior to the class. Hey, make sure you're in class, you've been reminded. And here we also have the option to limit the number of reservations accepted in the class. So if you have a limit on the space and how many people you can have in the class, you can go ahead and select that option. And then you have the option to set a wait list. So if you want to allow people to jump on the wait list after the class is full, you can toggle that on. We support 2 different kinds of waitlist options. You can either set it up so that it adds the first person from the waitlist to the class automatically, sends them an email, lets them know that they've joined the class. The other option is when a spot opens up in the class, everyone on the waitlist gets emailed, and then the first person who clicks to claim the spot will get the spot. And that's kind of nice because you can ensure that the person who's saying, I'm coming to class, has actively chosen that. We can require an active pass to book this class. So here we might want to say like, yes, if someone wants to sign up for this class, we want to have them have a pass on file that's eligible for this class. So that way you get paid, kind of regardless whether they show up or not. So that's definitely a very popular option. It's why we have it defaulted here. But for instance, if you are a studio that accepts a lot of drop-ins or people just show up and want to pay cash most of the time, you can always toggle that option off. Now we're also reflecting some default settings here from your whole account reservation setting, but you can also adjust them sometimes on a class-to-class basis. Like for instance, if you have certain classes that you want to allow customers to book further out or less further out, you can adjust that by the class. Now, appointments, we kind of want to use that for separate from our group classes. So our regular schedule is going to have our group classes. Appointments is usually for, your personal training sessions, your private sessions, maybe open gym time or studio time, something along those lines. So that keeps it off the main schedule. But for these ones, these are going on a regular schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. So we've added the class, we've created the class. Once we create a class, we always want to go in and adjust our passes, which ones are eligible. So you'll see that we have a number of passes already created. I'll show you that too, but we can just simply, check and say, which ones do we want to allow access? So if it's a pass we don't offer anymore, maybe we're not going to select that option. Here we have some personal training session class passes. Those probably wouldn't be appropriate for a regular group class. Go ahead and click save. So now we can go back to the schedule and simply add a class there. So as we saw before, I can say, oh, we have a class starting on Friday. I'm going to go ahead and create that from the schedule, but we can also do that from within the class. So if we go into my adult ballet class, I can click on manage the schedule and we can set it up from here. So let's say it's a Friday class starting at 5:30. We can also set the initial start date for a class. So we're going to want to, kind of say, okay, it's starting this week. And you can set an end date. So if a class is only going to be happening for 3 months or so, you could select an end date, or you could leave it open and, you could always wait until if you decide to cancel that class or change it down the road, you can wait until then. Here we go. We'll select our instructor for the class and choosing a location. So I've set up different locations here. This is going to be an in-studio class. So we'll go ahead and do that. So now that we have the class time, if we go back to our schedule, we're going to see that from our schedule. So there we are, quickly added that class, set it up here, beautiful. So The process of creating things and adding things to your schedule is going to be probably the first thing that you get into when you start setting up in Punchpass. It's just a very, it's just giving you an idea about what is it going to look like if I were to start using Punchpass. How is it going to feel? And then this is going to give you a sense of what your schedule will look like and how that might work for you moving forward. Now, I mentioned passes. That's probably the next thing a lot of people kind of go ahead and set up. So click on Manage Passes. You'll see we kind of have a list going of passes and memberships that we offer. So you'll notice up at the top, you can add a new pass. You can also add a new membership. The difference between the two is that a membership is going to be a recurring payment. So if someone is going to sign up for a membership, they're signing up to pay more than one time. At least twice, but usually people set up a membership to do something like recur until canceled, or maybe if you're doing a 1-year fixed term membership, you can set it to be a month long and run 12 times. So different options there. With the pass, let's say, looking at my passes and memberships, we have some regular class passes. We have some memberships, personal training. But let's say, we've got a 1-class pass and a 10-class pass. And maybe we're thinking, maybe giving a 5 is kind of a nice in-between option. We'll go ahead and add that. So this will be our 5-class pass. You could add a pass description as well. So if there's anything that you want people to know about the pass, like, let them know what classes it is and isn't available for, or if you have any like refund policies, you might want to add those to the pass description. And here we go, type of pass. So we have the option to sell unlimited passes, also have the option to sell punch cards. So here we can select how many are going to credits are on the pass. I said 5, so that's a good option. I do love this feature. I'm not going to use it here, but I'm going to show you donation-based passes. So if you offer your classes at sort of a sliding scale rate, you can really set that up. So you can set a minimum amount for the pass and a maximum amount for the pass. So people can select somewhere between that range if you'd like to offer a class and a pass by donation. Here we'll set the amount to can't quite remember exactly what we were planning on doing here, but we'll just set a number here. Obviously, those will be decisions you'll be making. We can set up a pass that becomes available on a specific date. So if you're doing like a New Year's special and you're like, oh, like, let's make sure this pass only becomes active. They can purchase in December, but it becomes active on January 1st. Can do that, or we can just make it as soon as they buy it, it's in their account, they're ready to go. And you can also set an expiration. And that is pretty common. Maybe we'll set it for 1 year. And when you set an expiration, you get to decide, is it when it assigned to the customer, or when they've used it for the first time. So this pass will be on their account, hanging out until they attend their first class, and then the expiration countdown begins. You can send a reminder if pass is expiring soon. So that's a really popular one, just to let people know, like, hey, it's gonna be over soon. And that'll go out 1 week until the expiration, or if they have 2 visits left on the pass. And then similar to how we set up the eligibility with our class, we can also do this from the pass side. So I can select all, I can clear all, and then I can go in and also say, okay, what is it not available for? So specifically, this one is not available for the personal training. So otherwise it works for all of our regular classes, and I can set it to sell online. So if you're connected with Stripe, who is our payment provider, you'll be able to sell your passes and memberships online. Show you where that setup happens in a moment. And then you can set up, access to the pass. Do we want to have everyone be able to see it, or do they have to have a login in order to access that information? Maybe you want to just have a login required when they go to purchase. And then you also have the option to limit to one purchase per customer, or also limit to new customers only. So only people who are purchasing for the very first time with you can get access to this. So for a new student special, that's a great option. But for this 5-class pass, we're good. Awesome. So now it's available. And I think now might be a really cool time to go and check out our public schedule, because now we have created a new pass, we had a new class on the schedule. Let's take a look at what it looks like from our customers. So again, here's our demo account. You'll see the option for customers to sign in or create an account. They can see the schedule. Here is the list view. So they can kind of take a look at that. Like I mentioned before, you have the option to sort by the class type or filter by the class type, location. They could also by our instructors or our teachers here. You can also see it from the calendar view. So depending on what device they are on or their preferences, they might like that. There we go. We can see the different classes available. And that's great. What you're probably going to see on mine is if they haven't signed in, they're going to be prompted to do that. So we'll go ahead and sign in. Beautiful. I'm already signed in. It saved my information. So that was nice and quick. But if I haven't paid yet, or I don't have a pass on my account, I am going to be prompted to purchase. What's really cool about this is, so it's automatically going to show me passes and memberships eligible. So what I can do is, I'm just going to buy the 1-class pass. That's easy. I'm going to click on that. And not only am I going to go ahead and purchase the pass, I'm also going to get booked into the class. So it's so easy for your customers. If they're, again, if they don't have the pass on file, it's going to prompt them to do that, and they'll still be able to book at the same time. So life is going to be really nice and easy. They just click to purchase and enter their information there. If I go back to our schedule, so yeah, you can see those will be different options depending on the class you're signing up for. Maybe you do have an eligible pass. So I can see I have active passes, and perhaps I am able to book if I have a pass available. So that's kind of nice. You'll notice up at the top here, we have our purchase a pass page. So we can see the passes that we've created here. We flag them if it's a membership, as well if it's a gift card, because customers can purchase gift cards to send to others, so that the recipient can redeem it for an actual pass on your account, which is awesome. I did mention that we have that appointments feature. I've set ours up as a personal training schedule. So you can see our personal training classes here. We can go the following week, see what's available, or if something's full, we can jump on the wait list. And so that's kind of a separate calendar option from our regular main kind of group classes. So just kind of wanted to show you a look at what your customers are experiencing. But we can head back in. I think I might have to refresh here, log back into my account, talk through a little bit more here. So again, some of the biggest things are creating passes, creating classes, taking a look at what it looks like from the customer side, and what's really going to be helpful as you're going through the trial, and if you decide to go with Punchpass and launch, back to that manage button is going to be the manage settings area. So our manage settings page is where you're going to access pretty much all of the really important information, and the important settings about your general account. So if I scroll all the way down, we have our general account settings, like basic business details that you might want to include. We have your billing information. So if you decide to sign up or switch plans, you can do that there. Integrations is a great one, because we do have some integrations with some great tools, especially Zoom. I'm going to show that in a minute because I don't want to forget. If you're integrated with Zoom, turning a class into an online class is so easy. So I definitely want to show you that. But if we go back to our settings, what I generally recommend when I'm talking to people who are like, getting ready or getting started with Punchpass is when you have a moment after you set up your schedule, after you create the passes you want to offer, you just want to click through these different tiles here and get a sense of like, what else do I want to add, and make sure my system is kind of ready to go. So instructors and users, I can give people login access at different levels depending on who they are to my business. I can also add those instructors that I can connect to classes and say like, okay, Trevor's teaching this class, Bree is teaching this class, versus the login access. So we have users and instructors. Our communications areas where you can add custom text and information to automatic emails that are going to go out to your customers. So you get to customize things, give them your own voice. But one I definitely didn't want to miss is our online reservation settings, because this is going to be something that I want to make sure everyone checks if they're setting up and they want to get going with Punchpass, because this is really what a lot of studio policies kind of are wrapped around, is how long until you can cancel, or do we allow late cancels? How soon before the class starts are you able to make a reservation? How many days out do we want to allow people to book? And we can set those rules here. We had to set what type of wait list we'd like. We had to set some rules about sort of our online class links. When are they, clickable for our customers? We can require certain things like a phone number to book or purchase a pass. We can allow people to sign up for the same class multiple times, or we can turn that setting off. Anytime you adjust something, just go ahead and click save. And then some other things like limitations around booking. Do we want to limit the number of reservations to the number of visits they have on their pass? That's a very common one. We kind of have that as the default. But again, if you want people to be able to book without paying ahead of time, you don't have to keep that setting on. So lots of different settings under here. A lot of things that you can check out. And just let people know you can always change something. So if you decide we're going to have a 6-hour cancellation policy, and then, you're kind of running into problems with that, or people are, struggling with that aspect, and you want to change it, whether to increase it or decrease it, you can do that at any time. You can set your own policies and check them out. And then if something changes down the road, you can do so. I mentioned signing up with Stripe for online payments. That's going to be the online payments area where you can connect to Stripe through Punchpass, and you'll sign up with an account with them. And then then you'll be able to sell your passes and memberships online through the Punchpass purchase pass page, which I showed you earlier, or just from customers going and booking, wanting to see the classes. You can customize things like your public web pages. We'll highlight this because you get to create a custom link for yourself, which is going to be easier to send that out to your customers and give them that information. You can either, again, if you want to link to that, to your schedule, but you can also embed Punchpass on your website. So that's also another option. Some of these are available on certain plans, like our waivers of liability, requiring a waiver to be signed by the customer. Discount and gift codes. We talked a little bit about gift cards, but you can also create discount codes and provide those to customers. Content library is an option to offer online recordings. So people could either access a video after the class has taken place, or you could sell memberships or passes to get access to just recordings, or a combination of classes and recordings. And then we have a custom intake field, custom fields and intake forms, which is available on our Redwood plan. So if you have certain information you absolutely need people to give you before they sign up, that's going to be the Redwood plan, and that's an option right here. Just quickly before I want to turn it over to you and ask and hopefully get some questions, maybe show some things that you're interested in specifically. Just wanted to show you the attendance process, just to get a sense for it. So it's not 5 o'clock yet, but we'll say it's time for class. And here we have our class, so we can see the information about the class. If we have any reservations, we can see those here, people who are intending on taking the class. The mark attendance button is generally what most people are going to use in terms of like if I'm the instructor and I want to say, yep, these people are here, I'm going to click mark attendance. There is a self check-in option where people can go up and either click on their name or they can scan a QR code with their mobile device and check themselves in. But I'll go ahead and click mark attendance. Now, we are always highlighting if someone does not have a pass. We can individually click on people's names. So if they have a reservation and they're here, click on their name, they get added. I can click to mark all reservations as attending. So everybody who has a reservation is going to then be marked attended. And I can also search for people. So for instance, if someone drops in, go ahead and add them to the attendance list. But I'll go ahead. I'm going to mark everyone as attending and I'm all added in there. So you notice there's a couple of icons here, a couple of notifications about what's going on with these attendances. So the one that's probably glaring at you is the no pass attendance, right? You know, they don't have a pass on their account. They're showing up here. No problem. We can have them pay. So for instance, here we have Amy. They're coming in, they don't have a pass. We see that they had a pass, but they've already attended with it. So we're going to assign them a new pass. Let's say maybe they just want another one class pass. Great. And here we are, can mark them as attended, can add a discount if you know there's a discount code, something going on. If they're paying in person, maybe they're paying with cash, we can mark that. So there we go, could be a cash payment. We could also, if we're using Stripe, pay by card. You can enter their card information. If you're using a mobile device, it gives the option to scan. So that's a lot quicker if you're there on mobile. But we'll go ahead and say they paid cash. You can also select to email a receipt in that moment and assign the pass. And it will take us back to the attendance page. There they are. Pass is all set. We're pretty happy. So, you know, and you can also get a sense of what other people are, you know, where they're at. So someone might have, you know, this one is full. So just letting them know, hey, but when you go to book again, it's going to prompt you to pay, or, you know, you might want to consider a like 5 class pass, something along the lines, if they're regulars. Some other icons to pay attention to. So if we have a first time customer, they're going to be greeted with our happy sprout icon, little plant. If they have the red pen and you're using a waiver, that's going to let us know that they have not signed the waiver. So we can click on the 3 dots next to their name. You'll see there's the option to click no show, also the option to open the waiver, have them read it. They can sign it or get their signature signed. And we're going to come on back here and we're all set. So that's just a general idea about kind of the average thing you're going to be doing when you're walking through this. Now, even though I've already marked attendance, I could come back in and like, oh, I forgot this person showed up late. I can click mark attendance again, search their name, add a new customer from here, add them to the class. I can also, after marking attendance, come back and say like, you know, you didn't have a pass. Let's go ahead and run that for you at the end of class. So, you know, it's pretty easy to kind of go through and read the prompts and kind of walk through it from there. But definitely that's kind of going to be, you know, what a lot of your instructors are doing and what you may be doing a lot in the system. Just kind of going through your classes, marking attendance, and hopefully, again, once you get set up, you'll be able to kind of keep going and running, and you might make changes here and there, add a class, add an instructor, but hopefully a lot of your life is going to be kind of taken care of once you're all set up. It's just going to be marking attendance and keeping an eye on your customers. So I have a couple questions here, so I'm going to just quickly get into that. Someone reminding me that I'm able to set the reservation limit in a class. So let's go see what they're looking at. So for instance, we created this adult ballet class. And if I go ahead and click edit, just to kind of show you, we've limited it to a certain number of students. That is something that we set at the class level. However, if I want to offer a hybrid option, I want to offer this on Zoom, one of the easiest ways to kind of go about this is I can just click and create a copy of the class. So I'm going to say Zoom or, online, however we want to designate that. And then I can go in, it's a lot of the same settings. Maybe I'll change like the color a little bit. And maybe instead I want to set the limit to 100 based on my Zoom account. Or I'm not that worried about it. I just won't limit the number of reservations accepted at all. Fantastic. It's already going to copy over the eligible passes of the previous class. So if I do need to make changes on that, I can. But otherwise, what's nice is I can show you from the schedule, like, okay, so we have our adult ballet class. Let's start a recurring class for online. Fridays at 5:30. Again, it's like a hybrid class. Do that. Yeah, perfect. It's going to be our instructor, and that's going to be an online Zoom class. Go ahead and add that to the schedule. So that's nice and easy. Now you notice, though, we do have to make one more edit here because you'll see we have one online with Zoom, and that's giving us the online flag. This one isn't. So go back into my down the classes. Adult Ballet Online. I'll go ahead and manage the schedule and manage the repeating schedule. Edit that. And just to turn it online, gives me the option, turn it into an online class. I'm integrated with Zoom. So what's going to happen is that Zoom is going to automatically create the meetings for this class. And they'll do that 2 weeks out. So when we go in our schedule now, we're going to see that is flagged as online. We're going to see the link. So that's going to be the one that's going to be sent to your customers, the password if they need it. So you could always, if someone's having trouble finding it, you can always copy it and send it to them. But they will be getting an email with that, and they will be able to access it from their account with you. So when they log in, they can look at their reservations and click to join the Zoom meeting. Your instructors will also be able to start the Zoom meeting from here because luckily about like half hour prior to the class time starting, you'll see a button here, start the meeting, and they'll be able to run it from here even if they don't have your Zoom credentials. So made that really nice and simple and easy. Our Zoom integration's definitely a really great feature, and it's really nice and easy to use. Okay. Can you have instructor logins that can only see one location? So we don't have it limited to the location, but one thing you can do with your users, for example, like if you have somebody that you want to restrict access, so you can give them different levels. So admin gets them basically full access to everything going on in the back end. Restricted is a little bit more limited. The biggest thing that they don't have access to is they don't have access to the manage area, and they don't have access to reports. They also won't see or be able to download the list of, they won't see the customer emails in a list, and they won't be able to download the customers. So just so you know. And then there's attendance only, so they could just mark attendance, that's it. But the other feature that we have to limit is we can set it so that they can only see their own classes, for example. So that way they're just, logging in and accessing what they offer. And that's usually, we see that a lot with the attendance only limitation, but it works with restricted access only. It also works with admin access only. Although, if you're giving someone full access and ability to see your reports, you probably don't mind them seeing your other classes. So those are just different options that you have. Okay, so that limit. Oh, I love this question. Can you convert a paper punch card that's already been purchased to Punchpass? So the conversion process to Punchpass can be I think a lot of people get really nervous about it because it seems like kind of big and scary. And but honestly, like we're here to help you with that, and we can walk you through it. Sometimes life can be really easy is if you already have like an existing online software program. They may give you the option to be able to download some data, and we might be able to upload it for you. So if you have a customer list that you can download with like their names and emails, or if you have a list of your active passes, we most likely can like upload those converted data into your account for you. But if you're working with pen and paper, then probably not, right? So you might just have like records or something written down, or if you just don't have access to download certain information, that's not a problem. So if we can't upload anything for you, what would that process look like? So first, I'd kind of go to my customers page and I'd click to add a new customer. So maybe we're adding a new person to our account. I can add information that I have about them. So if I need to make any notes about them, health status, birth date, pronouns, phone number, email. Email's a really good one. If we could add their email, that would be awesome. And then, again, if you have more information, you can fill it out about them. The great thing about this is, when you're adding them, you have the option, you can send them an invite, but you also don't have to do that right away. And then you have the option to create customer or create customer and assign them a pass. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's say they had a 10 class pass and they have 7 punches left. So we're assigning the 10 class pass to them. In this situation, I might say, we might say other, or like, coming from an external tool, or we might want to highlight that like this didn't come from, this was from before. So for our records, we might want to note that. And then I can go assign pass and edit it. So I can adjust the date it was purchased. So if I have all my records, I can get really detailed with this and enter all that information. If I'm just like, I just want to get the credits on for them, no problem. So we'll just go ahead and say they have 7 visits left. And then the other thing you might want to do if you're doing this conversion process is adjust the price. So for instance, depending on how you want your reports to look or how you're kind of tracking that for like tax reasons, you might say, okay, well, they paid me in the other system, so I'm going to set this to 0. So that it doesn't, I don't mark it kind of as being paid to me twice during that conversion process. So that might be an option. And some people might want to, or some people might choose to calculate like how much money is really left on the account, because they have 7 credits and divide the total by, how much is it per credit. You could do that too. But we'll just go ahead and click save. Now, from a customer's account, I can also assign the pass. So if they already exist in my account and I go to them, I can also click on assign a pass or assign a membership and add that information in here. Again, hopefully, if we're lucky, if it's not paper, we can help you by doing an upload. But this process, it starts to become really, really quick. Once you do it a couple of times, I've talked to a number of people who've made that switch. And even though it was, that first they were like, oh gosh, I have like 50 passes and 50 customers I have to add here. And then when they went through it, they were like, it didn't take that long once you got the hang of it. So yeah, that's definitely an option. I think I've marked all of those. I know we're getting close to the end here. So if anyone does have any additional questions or wants to see something specifically in the system while I have a bit of time, feel free to add your question to the chat. Okay, not really seeing anyone typing in here. As a reminder, I'll talk through a couple things there, but I realized that there were some things that maybe I didn't even get to today, or just some things that you might not know that we offer. I think I hit on a bunch of these, so I'm feeling good about that. But if there's anything else, if you have questions about what else is in the system, definitely want to recommend signing up for a 2-week free trial. It's super easy to kind of just sit and look at all these different systems and kind of say like, oh, maybe, I don't know. And then once you kind of get touching it and using it, I think you'll find that it'll really help you make that decision a lot quicker. So definitely recommend our 2-week free trial. If you go to punchpass.com/free trial, you'll be able to sign up for it and get started. If you have questions, again, please feel free to reach out in the chat because we still have a few minutes. But just in case you want to follow up with next steps, or you had a question that you like didn't even realize until later, or something else comes up, please feel free to email us, support@punchpass.com. Our team is available, and you might talk to me, and we can kind of get started, hopefully building a relationship to hopefully help support you better as you make the switch to Punchpass or are thinking about it. I mentioned this before. I'm going to jump on out of here. We'll just go to punchpass.com. From our open pages, our custom, kind of, if you just go to check us out, our chat box is available. So you can click on our chat box in the bottom right-hand corner, and we'll see, there I am. You can send us a message. We also have a directory that you can search for. You can see past messages with us, but just feel free to reach out and send us a message. We'll be happy to talk to you there. And if you need more direct help and you decide you want to, you kind of want us to take a look at something or walk through something with you, you can sign up for the trial, and we can schedule a one-on-one call and talk about your studio specifically, your account specifically. But yeah, absolutely. If you want to start a trial and sign up, we'll schedule a call and kind of work through it with you. We often do those over the phone, but we could also do it via Zoom if you want to do more screen sharing. We're happy to do that. But yeah, just head to punchpass.com. Oh, someone asked a cool question. I'll jump into it. We have a couple minutes left. What's the best way to make the calendar of reservations only available to members and not the public? So definitely a couple options there. Let me get out of here. Let me see if I can go back into my account. So in terms of making your schedule available, you do not have to share out yours page to anyone you don't want to. So if you don't want to have that on your website and super available, you certainly don't have to. So the only way that someone's going to probably find your Punchpass schedule is by you giving it to them. So whether that's like a link in your social media or embedded on your website, that's really how they'd access the schedule. Now you can make it obviously you can limit access by a couple different ways in terms of like, what do you want people to be able to do in the system? One of the big ones is under online reservations. I can turn off the option to allow customers to create their own accounts. So if we require customers to have an account, then I can also control who gets to do that, right? So if I don't allow people to create their accounts online, they won't have the option to create an account and purchase and book and do anything if I don't want them to. I can set it so that I, as the admin or maybe my instructors, has to invite them to join. So if we remember our option before, when we created when we created a customer account, so if I hit new customer, there's the option to send them the invitation. But if they already exist in my account and I have their email address, under their info tab, I'll see they don't have a login yet. I can click more and I can invite them to create a login. So they'll get an email that will be inviting them to sign up, and we can go ahead and do that. A couple of other kind of secret options that I like to mention that I think are kind of cool. Kind of limiting access to different things if I want to. One of the neat things about the pass feature is that maybe I have an unlimited monthly membership, or maybe I used to offer this and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that anymore, or like only certain people should get access to it. I'm going to go ahead and edit that. And I'm going to set it to not sell online. So it's not going to be in my purchase a pass page. I'm going to hit save. However, I still have a purchase link. So I can still send out a link for someone to purchase it online and get access to it, but it's not available to everyone. They have to have this link from me. So that's a way that you can also like limit access to certain things. Oh, can you only book if you have a certain pass or a certain membership, but then you only can do that, if you have the link? That's a way to, again, limit that and restrict that. Cool. All right. Well, I know here we're definitely getting to the end of our time today. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm just going to come back here. Hey, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to talk about your business specifically, about what you might want to set up if you start a trial and maybe you feel really confident. You're like, I watched all of this and I've walked through it, I've set it up and I'm feeling good, but you just want like a little extra pair of eyes on there. Just send us a message. We'd be happy to take a look at your account and let you know if we have any recommendations. We see a lot of people in this space, so we kind of can definitely get a sense for what's pretty normal and what might be like a little more difficult to get across, and some other features or setting recommendations that we see on a regular basis that you just might be curious about getting a little bit more information about, or just have someone kind of review what you're working on. So please feel free to reach out to us for that as well. And then if no one has any other questions, I just want to thank you all so much for joining us. I hope this was educational. I hope you learned a lot about how Punchpass works, what it looks like when it's up and running. And if you again have any questions, please reach out to us. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again soon.